President Trump's now facing legal and legislative challenges to his national emergency declaration at the southern border, including from some members of his own party. For more on this, let's bring in Republican strategist Kimberly Klacik. Kim, great to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon.
So the president really went out on a limb. This was an unprecedented move, declaring a national emergency by circumventing the U.S. Congress. Now it looks like he's got these challenges stacking up against it. What's his mindset?
I don't know. I think there's been challenges from the very beginning, though, because think about it. Republicans had the House and the Senate, and we failed to get it done then. And we have to push the blame there, too. But right now, Democrats, they're running into 2020, and I think they're going to kick this can down the road. I don't think they want him to get anything accomplished. If he has another feather in his cap, they know that he's going to look even, his approval ratings, I should say, will look even better as he nears the election. So I think they're going to try their best to stop this.
Well, we know there's already at least 225 Democrats that are willing to sign on to this resolution stopping the national emergency, at least one Republican, and according to Fox's own sources this week, many more in the pike that are thinking about jumping ship and signing on to the Democrats' resolution. It's got to hurt.
Oh, it's definitely has to hurt. But, and like I said, it hurt before, you know, when Paul Ryan, everyone, they could have done something. It hurt us before. But I think he should continue. I mean, this is a national emergency. To not secure our borders, as experts say, is detrimental to us. You know, there's a lot of children into human trafficking coming across. We have so much coming across as far as drugs, MS-13.
But border apprehensions, Kimberly, are up. An increasing number, a major percentage in the last year. What's the fear? If apprehensions are up, it means that law enforcement is doing what it's supposed to do. The job's getting done.
Yes, but I think this is also pushing back a lot on them and their resources. From what I gather, it seems like they're really understaffed in a way, because honestly, I think if they had a barrier, and they even said, Border Patrol even said a barrier would help them in these situations. I think we should keep going forward. They're there, they're on site, we are not, and I think we should listen to the experts and those actually at the border.
What about the folks that say President Trump has gone so far out on a limb here that he's actually run afoul of the law?
Well, I think, honestly, we should probably talk to some lawyers about that. You know, I'm not an expert there, but I think, honestly, we elected President Trump. We elected him to make good on his campaign promises. And I think he's going to get it done at any means necessary, and I like that about President Trump.
Well, he's clearly going to do it by any means necessary because he's gone around the Congress. Take a look at the latest Fox News poll. We've got 38% of Americans polled favor the president bypassing the Congress in order to declare this a national emergency, but 56%, a solid majority here, a major lead, almost 20 points, oppose it. So the American people are opposed to the manner in which he's gone about pursuing his campaign commitment to them. Yeah, that tells you a lot about where the American people are, and they don't like this.
Yeah, and I understand that, because then you have to look at the future, right? If he does this now, what will someone do 8 years from now? And I get that point of it, and everyone should be cautious.
It's a dangerous precedent.
It is. It definitely is. And I think people should be cautious in this situation. But at the same time, I'm looking at national security. I'm looking at what's in the best interest of Americans, and I understand that the majority may not feel the same way I do, but you know what? That's what's so great about this country. It's a democracy.
Well, thanks for sharing your perspective with us today, Kimberly.
Thank you.
And his name is Geraldo Rivera, Fox News correspondent at large.
Thank you very much.
With the blue tie memo again.
Yeah, right.
We got that going. Geraldo, I got back from the border. I was in Ciudad Juarez yesterday morning, spent most of the week there, and now we have this sort of showdown set. The House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will lead the House in voting on a resolution against the president's resolution to stop the House's resolution to stop president's declaration. Here is just a little bit. I want to give you the setup. Speaker Pelosi down on Laredo on the border talking, as well as the president's threat. Listen.
On Monday, we will send to the Rules Committee the resolution of disapproval of the president's actions. We say that not in a partisan way. We not say it in any political way. We say it in a patriotic way.
Will I veto? Well, 100%. 100%. And I don't think it survives a veto. We have too many smart people that want border security, so I can't imagine it could survive a veto, but I will veto it, yes.
The president vows to veto it, so that's it. We will have an emergency declaration or we will see the fruition of the declaration. We already had so much in the pipeline already. Under the March of 2017 or 2018 National Security Act, we already had 84 miles of border fence being under construction in the McAllen, Texas area. This National Declaration of Emergency gets another 55 miles. There's other Defense Department money. There'll be wall, fence, barrier construction for many years to come. I just wish everybody would just declare victory and move on. Nancy Pelosi is not going to be successful. The president will override the veto. I think there will be, the president predicted, I think, very accurately. There'll be this lawsuit in the Ninth Circuit. It'll go all the way up. He'll lose. Then he'll get to the Supreme Court of the United States. And the Supreme Court, as it did in the travel declaration, because he has such latitude when it comes to immigration, will say, and I predict on a 5-4 basis, they'll say the president was within his constitutional power.
So, Geraldo, President George W. Bush pushed through the 2006 Fence Act for barriers on the border. President Barack Obama sent National Guard troops to the border. The president seems to be doing both of those things. How is what he's doing much different than previous presidents?
It's not, Katie, but what I don't like is the improvisational nature of it. It doesn't seem orderly in a sense. It seems like ad hoc. Oh, I can do it here, I can do it here, I can do it this money, I can do it that money. The job needs to be done. I think ultimately it will get done. But you're absolutely right. I mean, Barack Obama was known as the deporter-in-chief. He was pro-immigration forces were extremely critical of the 44th president for his harsh crackdown on the border. George W. Bush he did preside over a time of more unanimity of spirit in the Congress, where they did pass the Secure Fence Act. And I think they have to get back to that. They have to get off this kick that the border fence is a moral issue. It's not a moral issue. It's a logistical issue. It's an issue of physical security. You've got to stop put this kind of mythicizing of it. It's this. People need to be able to predict what's going to happen on that border. And I think that it's fair to say there will be fencing, there will be a barrier, there will be a wall of sorts. But we're going to have this debate, I fear, all through the 2020 campaign and all through the next president.
House Democrats taking the first steps Friday in a bid to stop the president's national emergency declaration to build the border wall. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she'll bring the resolution for a vote Tuesday, while also having this to say. Take a listen.
The promise was that Mexico was going to pay for it. So it was it's declaring, the President of the United States is declaring a national emergency to honor an applause line in a rally. Not only is he disrespecting the legislative branch, and the Constitution of the United States, he is dishonoring the office in which he serves.
Joining me now with reactions to Speaker Pelosi's comments and the continuing border wall fight, Turning Point USA founder and president Charlie Kirk. Charlie, great to see you.
Great to see you, Katie. Thank you.
Nancy Pelosi is now arguing that the president is dishonoring his office by declaring this national emergency. What is your response to that?
Well, he's doing the exact opposite. He's fixing a bipartisan failure of the last 40 years where both parties refuse to actually secure the southern border. This is well within his constitutional authority to be able to declare a national emergency where there's an extended need. And look, the way I view it is no different than any other national emergency declarations that presidents have done in the past, where there is a pressing need that is affecting the citizens of our country, and he has it within his authority to be able to solve that problem. And the porous southern border, this is something you and I have talked about so much, Katie, is having real impact on Americans, whether it be the amount of fentanyl that is coming across the southern border, or guns, or drugs. And what's most concerning also is the amount of children that are trafficked across the southern border. We don't talk enough about that.
Right.
And this is his constitutional ability and authority to secure the southern border. And look, he's also, I mean, I'll totally challenge what Speaker Pelosi said. He is the promise keeper in chief. This is something he promised on the campaign trail. He went to Congress and got some startup funding for it, and now is using the 1970s era emergency declaration authority to be able to secure the southern border once and for all.
Charlie, maybe you could help me wrestle with this question, but Democrats and Republicans were for a wall/a fence in 2006 with the 2006 Fence Act. Chuck Schumer, Dick Durbin, even Barack Obama were on the Senate floor complaining it actually wasn't enough fencing to secure the southern border. Barack Obama deployed National Guard troops. President Trump is sending 1,000 more troops next week. What has changed now that the president is taking this situation a step further and taking it a little more seriously, and yet here we are with all of this opposition?
Such an insightful question. Two things that I'm able to pinpoint on this. The first of which, President Trump stole the base of the Democrat Party away from them, which is working class voters in the Midwest. So the Democrats have a serious political issue, and the only way they're going to try to make up for it is to try to continue the illegal immigration problem, which they turn and they demagogue into a political issue, and they misrepresent it totally and make Republicans seem as if they're anti-immigration. And the second thing is just this hatred for Donald Trump. They simply oppose things just because the president is for them. And in short, they truly hate President Trump more than they want what's best for America. And it seems as if no matter what he poses, no matter what he puts forth, they're immediately and instantaneously and automatically in opposition of it. So those are the two main things. Right. And a real applause for President Trump be able to really change the political makeup of this country and win states that Republicans hadn't won in 20 or 30 years. That's what I attribute the change in the illegal immigration debate towards in these recent couple of years.
Charlie, I want to switch gears a little bit here. You talked about hatred. You're in charge of Turning Point USA. You have a bunch of chapters all across the country. There was an incident at UC Berkeley. I want to play the video and then get your response.
Oh,
All right, so that was one of your recruiters, correct, who was allegedly punched in the face by someone who disagrees with them. Can you tell us what happened leading up to that moment? Was there something that prompted this? Was there a confrontation prior to this video that was shot? What was going on here?
Yeah. So we were just made aware of this a couple of days ago, where we were doing an activism recruiting event at the University of California, Berkeley, with our Turning Point USA chapter, just peacefully trying to recruit students. And we understand we're going to be in the ideological minority at UC Berkeley, but that doesn't mean you can't try and you can't keep on trying to grow your presence. And one of our activists there was met with physical confrontation, actually sucker punched right in the jaw there. And this is an unfortunate example of how violent the left has become. And put simply, the left hates the idea that there are other ideas. And, fighting on college campuses, we understand we're going to be in the ideological minority, but we never thought that we'd be met with physical confrontation and violence. It's a sad thing that this happened, but make a little bit news. I will be there next week, and we'll see what will happen. And we're going to keep it very peaceful, and I hope UC Berkeley does as well.
Well, be safe, and we hope that the police do their job as well. Charlie Kirk, thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie. Thanks.